What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Friday, August 1st, 2025? I know we're getting some bonus episodes right now. I'm excited to be here. Obviously, no David again. He's working. David sucks. But eventually, he will be back. Nate, seeing you over there, saying great guest. Nate, I obviously know you know who our guest is. But just hanging out, having fun, a little bonus baseball. We already did Wednesday's episode, but my guest today was too important for me not to have on. So, kind of a makeup because 2 weeks ago we ended up not doing a show. So, now you're getting some fun stuff here. So, we appreciate everyone that's watching, wherever you are watching from, whether it is YouTube, X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. Hello to everybody. If you are new, please make sure that you like, share, follow, subscribe if you like our content. If you don't like it, still do that because then we will find you. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate everyone out there that is even taking the time. If you are listening to this later via podcast form, please go ahead, leave us a 5-star review, comments, all that fun stuff is welcome. So if you tuned in 2 days ago on Wednesday, we had on Lucy Biggers, who is a social media editor over at the Free Press, but she is also a former climate influencer that was on Now This back in the day, good, like friendly, friends with Greta Thunberg, traveled with her, helped get AOC elected, and now she's crossed over. She sees the light. So that was an awesome episode. Go back and give it a listen. And, fun stories. So I'm actually going to bring in my guest first, and then I want to tell my fun story about that episode. So my guest this week, I'm excited to bring her on. She was supposed to come on a few weeks ago. It didn't work out, but that is okay. And that's why I want to do this bonus episode because I think she's awesome. I've seen her stuff before. And everyone, if you haven't, you should. Let's bring her in. She is Sara The Raging Tomato. What's going on, Sara?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having me and for being so flexible last week when I
Oh, of course.
hurt myself.
Yes, that sucks. Honestly, when you said that and you were like apologetic, I'm like, you hurt yourself. Of course, you don't have to come and like do a podcast. Like, I'm not gonna force you to come do that. But
I'm like laying on my living room floor. I'm like, I can't do anything.
I mean, I appreciate the effort. Okay, I can appreciate you saying there like I want to go. But so fun story, and I feel like you being a creator and somebody that has people debating and maybe some controversial topics could relate. So I had Lucy on the show and we talked a whole bunch about climate change and how it's like captured kids and things like that and people.
Mhm.
And someone put a dispute, put a claim on that episode for music. Now, my intro song over there, Like Me, that artist, Hack No Cap, is someone I grew up with. He's one of my best friends. So for them to put a claim on that song, it's like, he sends me his songs before he puts them out. So it's like, if you're listening, whoever put that claim, you have no claim. He's one of my best friends.
Ooh.
He will write to you personally if you'd like to say Alex has permission to use any of his songs. I can even share those texts. So, it's always fun when you talk about things that people don't like. All of a sudden they get their panties in a bunch and try to get you taken down. So have you had any of that stuff happening to you guys?
I am finding my show all over the YouTube streets to people who are just copy paste, and it's quite it's a little irritating because I know I could do the copyright, but I'm trying not to be a dick. But you know, but I'm like, and I'll go and write a comment and I'll say like, please stop stealing my shit. Like this isn't even, and I let my all of my panelists who come to my show, I'm like, go out and be fruitful and post your stuff everywhere, have fun with it. It is your
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
But when somebody out of nowhere who is just, and I see them doing it not to just my stuff, but other people's work too. And it's like, we work really, really hard to put our things together. So for you to just come in and screen record and re-upload, it's very insulting. But as far as my stuff, like I had one person try to copyright strike me when I did the news from the Manosphere.
Yeah.
And he was mad because I made a song, like a parody song making fun of him. And so he went in and said that one of my videos, like, because I had a clip of him picking his nose,
That's
and
disgusting.
and everybody called him Booger Boy after that, so he didn't like
Oh,
that. But obviously it was very transformative, right? Like, I was doing a whole skit and, lots of clips were dropped in, but he tried to make a
pretty.
copyright claim on
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, "That's not how that works, baby boy, Booger Boy." But yeah, that was the only time I've dealt with that. Outside of that, I think it's more people stealing my stuff.
You
Um
know what the thing is? Like, if Elon does anything, I feel like he should, if he's gonna make an AI bot, every single video, if there's not like an attributing the person, or at least like, you can like take the video and put it on and it'll show like the person like you took it from underneath. If that isn't there, then it should just get taken down. Like, I feel like it should be like something like that where it's like if it's obviously your original content, you're
mhm,
posting it, they could trace it back to you, that's fine. But like say I go and take your video when you have your guests on and just post it without aggregating any of you guys.
mhm.
I feel like that could be a good probably an easy algorithm thing
It'd
where it's
be
like,
even
hey,
nicer if it put a watermark over it, like
yeah,
when you
yeah,
have a PDF or something and you put a watermark over it. It'd be nice if they put a watermark saying this is not this person's original content.
maybe something like that. And it's bothersome, it is, and there are certain creators and certain, not even creators because they're not creators, they're just ex personalities that make a whole entire existence and have tens and thousands of people that follow them just from ripping people's work. And I don't care to call it out. Ian Miles Chong does it all the fucking time, and I do not, he's a person I'd bring him on the show because I'll talk to anybody, but I'll just flat out ask him and be like, what do you actually do? Like, what do you actually do? You don't live here. You're not from here. You meddle in our politics and you just steal everybody's stuff. Like, there's certain people that I don't like in this space, but I appreciate you coming on. It's going to be a ton of fun. I want to say hello to anybody new that's joining that is a fan of Sarah. One of the fun parts about having awesome guests is you guys tend to bring your fans here. And I want to highlight Buddha's comment. Number one, Buddha's dope. And I do appreciate this. I like it. Everyone deserves a like, but have to work for the subscribe. I'm down with that. I will work for that subscribe, and I hope you can go back and watch some of my other guests. And if you think I'm based and you like some of my guests and stuff, then I hope I earn that. Damn it. Okay. So I want to talk to you because it was funny when I first asked you to come on. You were kind of like, I don't do that. I moderate. I used to. I don't give my opinions. And one of the only things I'm good at is being annoying and being persistent. So, me just constantly kind of like, hey, you ready? And you eventually gave in. And I think we have some cool stuff because everybody sees you moderating and you're fantastic at it. You're very good at it. But I don't know how often you've told the story or if you have about why you got into it. So I want to start off by, what is the story of Sara the Raging Tomato? Why did you feel the need to start doing um, debate moderation?
Oh boy. I moderated my first debate, I think, before I even started doing live streams. And it was just purely by is circumstantial. It was over on Not Your Everyday Ashley. She wanted to debate with Andrew, and she had Alex from playing. Actually, this is the lore with
Let's hear it.
why Alex and Andrew, like, this was the breakup point. This is where
Oh
they broke
boy.
up. So I moderated, and it was Andrew and Purple Pill Pod, whatever his name is, and Ashley and Alex. And she asked me to moderate it because, like, obviously we were friends, so on and so
Yeah.
forth. And I was like, oh, well, all right, let's do it. Let's try it. It can't be that hard, right? Um, I like, I don't even wanna watch that debate because it was so treacherous, and I'm like, I probably didn't do any form of good job except for sit there and say, "I don't know." So that was, like, the first debate I ever did, and I had 0 intentions of ever doing that again. Then I started my live stream, like, my channel live streaming later, and I just started hosting open panels and people were coming on, and I noticed people started, like, I would have a full panel and somehow still able to manage it, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
this is good. um and
And I mean,
The
and for people that don't know, that takes a ton of skill. Like, I've had on, like, multiple I've done, like, a bunch of people on a show. It's not easy to get everyone's words in edgewise because, obviously people get better with debating. They start to learn to listen while
Mhm.
formulating, but you get a lot of like normie people and they don't do that. They're not capable. They hear one thing and then they just want to talk about that. So allowing them the ability to get in, that's not easy. That like there is a big skill to what you do.
Yeah, thanks. Uh, I'll even say, like, I didn't yeah, I 100% flunked that whole debate. It was trashed, and they were disagreeing on even taking the negative versus the neutral, and I watched it later.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it afterwards, and then I went around and listened to I think Torsia had the best example of, like, where it went wrong, and I was like, "Wow, she's not wrong," and it really was a great learning tool listening to other people judge it. And then nobody was mad at me. Like, nobody was mad at me in that instance, but they were, judging the situation, what was going on, and it helped me understand it a little bit better. Um,
See, that says a lot about you too, that you're able to take constructive criticism, right? Like that you're sitting there and there's so many people that'll rage and will sit there and be like, how dare you criticize me as a moderator? And it's like the fact that you're like, okay, I understand like this is good criticism, like that again says a lot about you.
I don't mind criticism. What I do have a problem with is the copium.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh
cope
yeah.
yeah, like, we just had that issue with Base Tweaker the other day, like, went off on a rant, and, when you just start attacking me as a person, I'm not gonna listen to anything you have to say at that point. No, I'm always happy to learn. I've done a lot of, I've done a lot of work since then, but that was the first debate. And then, of course, I started hosting open panels, and then one night I thought to myself, what if I do a Monday night, Moderator Monday, open panel, and I pick a topic and everybody comes on? And it started off really great, and people were just jumping on, and we were, arguing and doing that, and I was just centering myself. And then I ended up hosting Andrew's debate with Based Oracle.
Mhm.
He had asked me to pick that one up because there was a lot of drama and lore behind that. And I
There
remember just
always is with Andrew. There always is. He comes like, I love Andrew, he's amazing, the Crucible's
he comes
great,
with
but
baggage.
you, like, sit there and it's like, this creator has problems with Andrew, this creator and you know why the people have problems with him is because he has his opinions, he has his basis, and he's consistent. People hate consistency, and Andrew is nothing but consistent, so I think that's and Andrew could be Andrew. He's very brash, and I would love to have Andrew on the show because we'd have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a totally different side to him, I think, but there's seemingly always is lore. People
Yeah.
are, and the more obviously, the more I engage with him and have him on the show, and the more I interact with people who like him, don't like him, this and that. Now I understand why he gets so irritated at the tards, right? Like,
Oh my god, the surface level people that everyone rises up to, they're a great debater, and it's like, then you talk to them and you try to dig a little and they just circle back, and then you dig a
Mhm,
little and they circle back, and it's like, you're not a good debater, like, you don't know what you're talking about, and I think that's a good thing with what you do, is because you kind of it's not like you're exposing intentionally, right? Like, you allow people to come on and do it,
mhm,
it exposes them and hopefully sharpens some of them, right? Maybe they
mhm.
can go back and watch it like you did. So, I love that you're looking at all this. So go ahead, continue with the lore. I'm
Oh,
enjoying
yeah.
the lore of
So,
you.
obviously, the Based Oracle lore, like, I remember getting this message, like, on an afternoon, and it's Andrew, and, like, "Set up the debate with Based Oracle, you host and moderate," and I was like, "Uh, okay." Like, it kinda caught me off guard because I you don't it's I mean, now, obviously, it's very different, but I was not getting random messages from Andrew in the middle of the day telling me to do something, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, what am I doing?"
Yeah. Is this what
And
I am now?
right, I was like, what is this?" And so yeah, I set up the based oracle, and I was incredibly, like, I didn't like it. I had from the very beginning, prior to him saying that, I had said, "You guys need a different moderator, not me, but you need somebody outside of Glenn because the trash is already all over the place. You guys need to
Yeah,
reset
yeah.
this." And that was it was kind of my fault because I dipped my nose in to, like, into the business saying, hey, I'm observing something from, and that's me just being mom. Like, that's what I
Yeah.
do. But I dipped my nose in and I said, Andrew, Glenn, like, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I recommend you do. You like, this is just, you're not getting anywhere with this. All it is a bunch of dick measuring going on. And here's what I recommend. And then, of course, Andrew's like, Sarah needs to mind her own business. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just see problems and I want to fix them for all the babies, you know? And like, so we did the based oracle debate, and then by that, like I think it was late August, early September, I changed my format of Moderator Monday, and I'd really taken a lot of time and said, do I want to do this seriously? Because like there's something here that I think I like, and how do I want to do it? And I took a lot of like a couple months kind of sorting through formatting and what I wanted to do. And then now you see what you have, Moderator Monday, the 2v2s and how it's set up and how it operates with the open panel, so on and so forth. And the rest is kind of history. The Throwdown Thursday came in a little later. I used to do interviews on Thursdays.
Yeah.
I used to do what you were doing, and then they just turned into, uh, like just kind of switched it around and really thought how I wanted this to be. And it's a good way to bring somebody to your show one on one individual, but
Yep.
then you got to face the audience. You got to face the
Yeah.
panel and whatever they bring. So, and now you see where we are. Yeah.
And and being able to evolve is always good, right? Because you are what you are right now. You're doing the gauntlet, you're doing Moderator Mondays, you're doing this stuff, but there's always going to be evolution, right? There's always going to be a time where something runs its course. And it's like, yes, Moderator Monday's still here, but it's now this way. I think that there's something that can work better. And that's
Mhm.
the way the evolution always goes there. So I do have to ask, though, for those that don't know, why are you a raging tomato? What's the lure behind the name?
So many people ask that. All right, if you're watching, somebody clip this and share it with the Discord and pin it so that when everybody says that, you just bring them back to that pin.
I'm going to take this clip
Um,
and put it around. This is going to be one of my
there
clips
you
of the
go,
show.
because I do get asked that a lot, and I'm like, go watch on such and such a show. I said it over there. So the Raging Tomato, I used to just be Sarah Bobera. Uh, because the Sarah Bobera, what else? And I
It's
just
fantastic.
when I made up and I wasn't a channel, I wasn't anything like special. I was just entering into YouTube. Alex from Playing with Fire was the first place I went on screen. He used to do the speed dating over there, and I thought, oh, that's fun. I'm freshly divorced and have nothing better
There you
to
go.
do with my
Yeah, why
time.
not? It's a good
Yeah.
time.
So I did the speed date on Alex's show, and I don't know if you know him, but most people in the panel verse know who this person is, and they all go, ugh, that guy. And it is the none other than the Hormaxer. And
No, I
he
don't.
came on, you don't, you're okay.
No.
You're safe. You are safe. Uh, but he came on to do a speed date, and his opening line was, "Hey Sarah, you want to go to a sex club? We're gonna go out on a date. You want to go to a sex club?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what? Like, does this work for you? Is this a thing?"
Here's the thing.
And
He's that type
mhm,
of guy that when you say yes, he won't know what to do. Like, he's that
probably.
type, like, when you're just like, "Yeah, let's go. I know a place." He's gonna be like, "Wait, excuse me?" Like, that's the
You
type
want to
of
go
you
to a
gotta
sex club?
and then you gotta, like, talk to him like you smoked Virginia Slims. "Yeah, let's go. I was just there 5 minutes ago." Like,
Oh goodness. So yeah, so that was his opening line, and obviously that speed date did not go very well for him, and I made fun of him. Yes. And so I think it was like a couple shows later, I was on Alex from Playing with Fire's panel,
mhm,
and the Hormaxer pops on, and he's so mad.
it's a great
He's
name.
so mad at
It's a
me, and
great
he's
name, though.
yeah, I know. I like when I first
Great
saw it, I
name.
was like, "This is so like degrading."
I love it. No.
Oh my god, it's bugged me up. Uh, so so yeah, so he came on and he was so mad from that prior speed date, and he started yelling at me. He's like, it's women like you and blah blah blah. And then he's like, your face is all red. You look like a tomato. You look like a fucking raging tomato.
That's
And it
incredible.
was
That's it?
from there on, the chat went wild with it. His chat went wild with it. Anybody who knew me was like, oh look, it's the tomato girl. And and I had it was like a couple weeks worth of being called the Raging Tomato from the chat and the trolls and stuff that I was like, "I need to own this."
Yes,
And
that's the best way
so
to do it.
yep, so I was like, "I'm gonna rebrand before I'm even a channel," like, and I
That's
rebranded
amazing.
my username, everything, and I was like, "That's me, that's who I am,"
See,
and
you should make another channel where you just rant and rave, but it's not the Raging Tomato, it's the Raging Tomato. Like, it's like an N with an
the
apostrophe and
Raging
tomato.
Tomato.
The Raging Tomato, and that'll just be like your rants channel, where you
That
just do
would be
shorts, where
perfect.
you just rant for like a psycho for a minute about things, and
Oh
that'll
my
just be
god,
that.
that's actually genius.
Listen, I'm good at providing ideas, I'm just terrible at executing them. Like,
Terrible at
if I took
implementation.
like 0.1% of every idea that I've given to people, and if they use them, I'd be a millionaire, but hence I'm not. But
Mhm.
so I love that lure, and I love that you decide. And that's one of the things, like, I'm friendly with some other people and they'll like complain when they get made fun of online. I'm like, just own it. Like,
Oh, I
if
own
you get
every
made
moment
fun
of
of,
it.
like, you just have to own it, because then like that's the best way to beat a bully, right? Like, either you hit
Yep.
them back, can't hit them virtually. So, or you just kind of take what they say and you just laugh at them, or you own it, you take it with you. And the
Oh,
fact that you've
I
taken
own
it,
it. I'm a 38-year-old single mom who I didn't just hit that wall. I hit the wall, fell down, got back up, and ran back into it. I own every single moment of it because that's all I used to
amazing.
hear, right? Like she's what, like 45, she's 52. What is she looks old. She's a single mother. Oh my God. She hit the wall and the wall hit back.
It's like it's just like, thank you. Like, you're behind the computer screen, that's great. Come debate. Like,
Mhm.
so I love it. I love seeing this personality pop out in you. Like, it is like you it's great that, because like when we do watch you, you just kind of like you do a good job moderating, right? Like, you're there,
I
you do
sit
what you have to
quietly like
do.
a girl.
Yeah. Oh my god. You've been hanging out with Andrew way too much. No. But so let's get into a little bit of the moderating itself. So, do you feel that what you're doing, moderating, allowing people to exchange ideas in a controlled but, open way, do you
Mhm.
feel like it's important what you're doing right now and how you're allowing people to do this?
A lot of people have. I'll frame it this way. A lot of people ask me, why do you do your show? Like, are you trying to spread the word? Are you trying to change the world, and so on and so forth? And it's like the answer for me is no. I'm not changing the world, but there are other people who want to, and they can utilize my platform to do that. There are other people that have messages to spread. There are other people that need argue therapy and just want to come yell. There are people that just need somewhere to go hang out, and that's exactly what my channel is. It's like I am the hub where you can come and utilize it for whatever it is you need to utilize it for, and we offer that space for you to do it. I think that um they know what to expect. They know I'm pretty open to thoughts and ideas, or the levels of stupidity as well. I'm open to the yelling and screaming, but they also at the same time they want mom to be mom and keep them safe while they rant and rave and do their thing. So it, I am the person that holds the space in order for you to do what you need to do.
So, what is your line? Like, have you found that as you've been doing this, is there a line that you kind of like notice where it's like, hey, now I'm stepping in, this has to stop? Is there something that people can say, types of like things that are going on? Like, what lines do you have that when you hear it that you've developed as a moderator and maybe like have let it go before and then it went on, like, obviously you get better at a skill. It's a skill that
Mhm.
you're doing. So what are your lines that you've discovered that it's like, okay, this is about to go the wrong way? And have you ever had guests that are like, when you interject, are like, no, screw you, I'm gonna keep
Oh,
blah blah
always.
blah. So what are your lines? Like, what do you kind of look for
Well,
in that
number
kind of
1, I
stuff?
have the personal line. We don't cross the personal line. It what happens here on screen is on screen.
Yeah.
Um, saying talking about somebody's personal life, somebody's kids, somebody's, well, you do this, you're married, or you're this, like, and I'm like, keep it. I mean, there are variations of personal pieces that can be brought in, right, in terms of opinions and views. But I don't like it when people drag drag people's personal lives into a debate, because that's not where it belongs.
Yeah.
If you're a good debater, you'll never have to drag their personal life in. You can use hypotheticals, you can use what if, you can use, things across those lines in order to get the point across. But if you have to say, well, I know your ex and XY, like XYZ, not X, like
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I know your XYZ, and A, B, C, D, E, F, and therefore you are dumb. Like, and I think that's my number one priority line is personal life, which I think most people have really picked up on that, and most people are really good about not crossing that line. I think the boundaries have been pretty well established throughout the debates, through time. Um, Number 2, I think when somebody really tries to take it completely off scope, or just it went right over their head, usually I try to offer translations, like, if I see 2 people, just 2 ships crossing in the night in conversation, I try to offer a bridge to get them back to, where they should be together.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work. You can lead a horse to water. That's one of my bigger interjections when I see 2 people are completely way off and talking past each other.
And that
Uh,
becomes just like a kind of like talking in circles, right? And it gets nowhere. It doesn't progress the debate. It becomes boring. It becomes irritating.
well, that's
So,
actually number 3, is the talking in circles,
yeah.
becoming circular. When they're talking past each other, I can see the issue and why they're not understanding,
Mhm.
and so in order to make it a more productive conversation, being able to translate or offer, like, a different example or a different piece. But the circular arguments, usually I'll end it. There's some debates I'll just like, we're going to go ahead and put this one away and open the panel, because now I'm hearing the same things over and over and you're not getting
Yeah.
anywhere with it. And that's not productive either. So by opening the panel, we offer other voices to come in and maybe shake it up and find a new route. And then number 4, I would say, oh, I just had it in my head. It was totally there and now it's just gone.
I love when that happens, especially when
Mm.
you're live and doing things. But,
Yeah. I
so
was talking about, hold on. I was
you were
talking
talking
about
about your
circular. I was talking
yeah,
about translating.
talking past each
Ah,
other,
walking past each other, and then there was a 4th one, and it was, like,
personal,
really important.
obviously.
Yep, personal, but then, oh, well, whatever. I guess it's not that important
If it
now, but I
pops
know
back
it when
in, then
I'm
it
in it.
pops back in. Yeah. Yeah. If it pops back in, you could just interject and be like, "It was this. That was number 4."
Yeah.
So, in your experience, you have a lot and it's, typically you stick to politics and social issues and things that you're debating. What have you found kind of, I'm gonna get biased here. Which side has a harder time debating that you have found just from your experience? Because I think one of the cool things about you and your channel, I feel like all sides kind of find it as a safe space because even though you may have your own political leanings, you are fair in terms of how you moderate. But
Mhm.
just from viewpoint and experience, have you found that one side not necessarily wins, but is better at the debating process than the other? Or does it really depend on who the person coming in to debate
It
is?
comes down to the individual really, because and I always like to come to every debate with a completely clean slate. Like everything in my mind about how these people have debated, topics that they've already done, past everything's completely off the charts. So whatever they bring into that debate in that moment is the only thing I'm going to be like really formulating the like like how I'm going to interject, or where where one person's doing better than the other, or maybe I need to offer some help over here, or maybe
Yeah.
somebody's completely way off basis. Um, but I would say it's because I've seen the left do great, and I've also seen the right do great, but I've also seen the right flunk. I've seen a lot of religious debates where the Christians just fail at hitting the points, and the atheists are they're just running the lines better. So it really doesn't, it comes down to the individual. And I've seen one individual do great in one moment but then terrible in another.
Yeah. topical, I'd imagine. It kind of depends on where their strength is and everything. I mean,
Mhm.
then that's interesting and it makes sense. When you see so many people, like you may think that your ideology is the best, but if someone presents the other ideology in a great way, then yeah, they're going to sound
Mhm.
good. And
Right.
and they're going to make points. And so I had something in my head and it's gone. So we're going to move on to the next thing over here.
See?
See, yeah, you shared it with me. You infected me with it.
It's
But
the blonde.
so you mentioned, because it's not a stranger. I ask everyone what their topics are, and I like to do on this show to kind of talk about what you guys want to talk about.
Mhm.
Oh, that's what it was coming up. Boom. It helped me jot it. When it comes to topics of the debate, what do you do when someone like, because I'd imagine a lot of these people will come to you and say, hey, I'd like to debate X, Y, and Z. Can you set this up
Mhm.
and do something? You probably get a good amount of that. What happens when there's a topic and you're like, I know jack shit about that? Like, do
It
you
doesn't
take the
matter.
time to research or are
Nope,
you kind of
nope, it doesn't matter. I don't feel the need to know the information. I don't feel the need to have background knowledge because number one, my style of moderation that everybody's very familiar with. I'm more like a referee at that point. I tell them all like I'm not calling out fallacies for you. I'm not gonna back you up on something or this or that in terms of the information being provided. I don't care about that portion. This is your space to do it. It is your job to do fallacies. It is your job to provide the information. It is your job to call shit out, not me. Right. My job is merely referee, ensure there's a translation, ensure that everything's going smoothly and that you're actually having a conversation. You're staying within the topic or within the scope, and you're not, yelling and screaming at each other and going completely off the charts. So I don't I've taken on debates where I'm like, I have no idea what the hell this is, but there was I forget what it was, but there was a topic where I was like I don't even understand what the prompt means. I had to I did have to like at least look it up and say like to so that at least I understood what we were talking about. But as far as researching, I don't feel the need to dive that far in because to me, they should be bringing everything in that moment to the table, and that's what I'm utilizing in 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 my efforts to ensure everybody's moving like smoothly.
that has to be fun too, right? Because if there's a topic that maybe you aren't as well versed or know nothing about, how much do you learn when you're listening to these debates? Like,
Oh
how
my
much do
god.
you take in? And I'd imagine sometimes coming in with a clean slate is better because then there is no bias associated, right? Like,
Mhm.
if there's someone you totally agree with on a topic and you know them, it's like, okay, maybe I'm going to be a little more biased to them. But when it's something that's a clean slated, like even mentally, not actions, but just thinking about it, I could imagine how fun is it to just kind of come in and learn? How much have you learned from just listening to people debate?
There's so much out there. And even at that, like a lot of times during a debate, they'll say something and I'll be like, really? like, you know?
That's your interjection. Huh?
Yeah, really?
Are you serious?
Is that
Source.
what I had no idea. And I think it's cool. It's great. It's very informative. A lot of data points get put behind the in the private chat, when they're like, check this out, check that out. And I think it's very helpful to like for me going forward, right? Because then I'm just taking in all of this information. And then also that helps me with debaters that come up, later and do maybe a similar topic. And
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, it's like building and building and building on a mass amounts of knowledge. And it's just never ending.
You're
It's
gonna
great.
become a genius by mistake. Like, you're
By
gonna
mistake.
become, like, an absolute genius in, like, social and political philosophy and things like that
Well,
because you just
I
ingest so much.
The bigger honestly, the bigger learning piece is people,
Yeah.
operating people, how like peopling the people is what I like to call this, and learning how to deal with people, what works, how de-escalation, escalation, controlling the chaos, so on and so forth. And sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed, but that's honestly the biggest learning tool that I have because I do this on a daily basis is how to manage people. And I'd say in the real world, like it kind of helps you like, you find the emotional ones, you see when they get triggered, when things aren't going so well because you're constantly, interacting with people on screen. And so when you take that out and it's not just a box anymore, you can find the trigger points a lot faster and see when people are getting upset way faster. So,
I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I want to move on
mhm,
because you mentioned something called blood sport debates.
mhm.
I can imagine what they are because I think we see them all the time on a few different channels. But for those that may not know, what would you consider a blood sport debate? What the hell is that?
uh, Non-academic style debate. We're not sitting in a college auditorium. No, and then this person did this and this, equation, and like we're not sitting there bored out of our freaking minds. We're entertained while also retaining information. Blood sport just means the gloves are off. We're not a
Yes,
bunch of nerds, and I can yell at you and call you an idiot if you say something stupid. I don't have to be respectful. I don't have to
polite.
maintain civility just to get my point across. Obviously, blood sport debate is a term that's been coined in this space by who God knows who. But inevitably, it just means the niceties are out the window, and we're going to not only educate our audience, but we're going to entertain them in order to harness their attention and monetary value too. So keep sending the super chats, guys.
So I want to give this question because I think it's important. The sarcastic saint asks, I'm a big fan of Sarah, so here is a question for her. How much wine do you drink to get through a night during a regular and open panel? Any tips on how to drink a whole bottle in one gulp?
I love you, Saint. Yeah, I think the running joke now in my chat is, I think Nightbot even drops it saying Sarah looks thirsty, buy her a drink. Um, because it does get to a point. Our last moderator Monday that we had, I grifted my chat. I said, "Send me $50, I'll go crack a beer open," and they knew I needed it. And they knew I needed it. And then by like hour 3, I think we grifted another beer to be open, and by hour 4, another one. So it does get sometimes when everyone's just for some reason on the crazy end that night and nobody's listening. And we go through spurts. We have like really cool panels. Like, when I like shut down a stream, I'm like, wow, that was a great show. We got through so much great productive points, and everybody
Yep.
had smart things to say, and nobody got crazy. And, we had fun and had a great conversation. And then there's other panels where I'm like, vodka now,
And
you
it's like you'll
know,
probably have like the same people on, and it's just a different topic. And it's like, where did you people come from? You were normal
what
last
happened?
time.
What
Like,
happened?
what happened? You behaved so well.
Yes, exactly. And and we go through spurts. I follow the moon patterns now because the moon seems to have a lot to do with it. But I swear to God, I've noticed a trend. Um, but overall, I think, I think, if alcohol, I actually had to stop drinking.
I don't
I'll say
blame you.
that.
It's
I had to
probably you'd
stop
have
drinking
to drink
because
too much to deal with it.
Right? I used to do, Saturday night sipping streams, and it was just a chill stream. We're just gonna hang out. I'm gonna have a couple White Claws, and we're all gonna get stupid, and just have a good time. And it used to
Yeah.
be so fun, but then I realized I'm like, I feel like I'm drinking too much, even though I'm not. I'm only drinking once a week, but it still felt heavy. Um, and then also with all of the other work and setting up other debates and all of these things. And so when we hit the 5,000 subscriber mark, I was like, this is our final sip and stream, and we are officially a debate platform going forward. And I don't even keep alcohol in my house, so it's rare that I even
Yeah.
can drink. So when I have one and it's like happens to be a crazy stream, I'm like, there's something to drink upstairs. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it.
It's like I only will drink beer like and only on a stream if I have it in my beer fridge, and I never
Mhm.
do because I really don't drink either. And it's like the only time I have it is if I like have like family or friends come over, and they
Mhm.
do the polite thing and bring beers, and none of us drink them anymore. So it's like now I'm stuck with like a friggin' case of beer, and it's like, all right, I guess I'll drink it on
That's
stream.
usually
So
how I end up with it in my house. Like,
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
comes over and they bring, like, a six-pack of something, and they just leave it there, and I'm like, "Why'd you leave that here?"
Take it with you. Thanks for
Take
being
it
nice, but take it back. And they're like, I'm
take it
not going to
with
drink it.
you.
Well, it's because that's the
Yeah,
response. I ain't going to drink it. Like, okay, like
right?
I am.
Well,
So
yeah, especially when it's a crappy like, there's like, a couple Bud Light Limes in my fridge, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, at
I
least
didn't think anybody drank Bud Light Lime anymore.
there is
Just,
one person I know,
just get a
and that is
Corona or a Dos
all.
Equis or a Modelo and throw a
Right?
lime in it. It tastes so much
Um,
better.
I agree,
Oh my God.
I agree.
All right. So Nate G has a question here. Do you have a favorite crash out on your show?
Uh, oh, we've got a lot of them.
You can give a few if you want.
A crash out, like, we had one that I'd say it's not necessarily my favorite, but it's the most memorable because it was just so terrible. Actually, Fatty crashed out hard last Thursday night. That was an 8-hour stream, and Fatty
Oof.
was just crashing like one crash after another, and
I
it
don't know
was
how
like,
you guys do it. That is ridiculous. That's a long time. That's a long.
uh it gets I don't even know how we do it either, but Fatty, he had a pretty hard crash out that last Thursday night that I don't even know what happened, but it wasn't the worst, but the worst crash out was when we had I Killed Earl versus Team Fatty, and they debated, and she got emotional, and he was kind of like doing the personal stuff, and I kept saying like, I think you should, but she kept feeding him more personal stuff, and I'm like, Stop giving him that
Don't feed the troll.
information."
You
Right,
don't
yeah.
feed the troll.
Yeah, like, you don't have to answer those questions, and if you knew how to debate, like, you would know, "It doesn't matter what I do, like, give me the point," right? What does the general amount of population do or something like that? Like, we don't
Yeah.
have to make it anecdotal because anecdotal doesn't work.
So what is your line when it comes to a person that's debating if they continue to cross your boundaries, continue to break your rules? Do you pull the plug and kick them? Do they get warnings? Are you very loose on that? What is your how much leeway do people get?
My saying usually backstage before we start a debate is, if you continue interrupting or do this or do that, you're going to figure out why they call me the Raging Tomato, which is kind of funny because that's not why they do that. But
The raging
but
tomato.
the Raging Tomato.
The raging
Um,
tomato.
but usually be like when you go into mom mode.
You should get everyone, they should all have to give you their full God-given name, and that's what you say when they
So I
cross
can
the
like
line. Like, their middle, their first, full, middle, last name, and when they get out of line, be like, "Listen, everyone's gonna know your full God-given name
Mhm.
if you cross that line." Honestly, I feel like
Right?
most people, especially ones with aliases, would be like, "Yes, dear. I will listen to
Yes.
everything you say."
Yeah. It actually,
That's the
yeah, that would
collateral.
actually, but
That's the
I
collateral.
think once, because even my kids know, like, my kids know when they've crossed that line, and mom is pissed. And I think most people on panel figure it out pretty quick too, especially if they've already been here before and they're like, "Oh, I know that one. I know that one." My favorite is when like I slam down on my desk. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
You see your panelists start to get the twitchy eye as they know that you're about to flip out. Like,
Like,
you have panelists, like, warn each other, like, "Stop! Sarah's about to get mad."
they do pretty good, and even if I start reading a super chat and somebody's still yip yapping, they're like, she's reading, stop it."
Respect the tomato. Oh my god. So,
Hmm.
another question coming here from Evan Lord, or Even Lord, sorry, not even Evan Lord, Even
We
Lord.
all call him Evan anyways.
Evan, we'll
Mhm.
just call you Evan Lord now. Evan Lord, there you go. Who was the worst debate or panelist that you've had to deal with?
It's Evan Lord. Evan's the worst. No, I'm kidding. The worst one that I've ever had to do, honestly, and I have a love-hate with this one because he's the worst, but also the best. Uh, so Jim Bob is known. I call him my pit bull for debates, and he knows it. He knows how he acts. He knows who he is, and I love how he is. But I also hate how he is because he's the hardest one to reel in. Because I'm like, "Jim Bob, stop. No, stop." Like, "Jim Bob, no." And then
Bad Jim Bob.
he's done some TOS rule breaking before, and it's like, and he knows, like, he pushes my little buttons like a
But
fucking
you know what though?
button.
It's one of those things that you all have those friends, and especially the girls, you're just sitting there and you're like, "Oh, they're adorable. Let me just piss them off a little more." Like,
I don't think
I'm
I think
I
Jim
don't know
Bob
if
just
you'd like
is
me on the
so.
panel, 'cause I probably
You'd
would be
probably
that
be
one.
fine. Nah, you'd be
I'd
fine.
be
Most guys, especially like the men who I've interacted with in these spaces,
yeah.
most of them, like, they know they're not gonna trigger me. You know what I mean? Like, try very hard, but I have the patience of an angel
Of a mother. The
and
patience of a
of a
mother.
mother, and they know that you're not gonna trigger me, darling. No, I'm gonna make you look stupid in 3, 2, and then boom. And they know it. They know
I
it's
love it.
coming.
I
Like, one
love
guy
it.
tried to, I forget what he was saying. He said something,
Be careful, they might enjoy that.
they do. That's why
That's
I'm dead
weird.
serious. No, they do.
The dominatrix tomato, is that what you become? Like,
Come on now. Have you watched the panels enough?
sometimes yeah, yeah, I know, some people enjoy it.
They do. A lot of everybody. That's why the chat usually goes wild when I'm over here, and I start yelling. They're like, "I love it when she yells!"
You're
Ah,
the leather-wearing tomato at that point.
yes. If I now, could you imagine if I did put leather and have the little whippy thingy? Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
that would you should create, like, a little, like, emoji type of thing, like a Bitmoji, like, that flashes across the screen when you get angry. Just a tomato with, like, leather on, dominatrix with a whip. See, I'm full of great ideas, just take all
Can
my ideas.
somebody in my chat, go to my Discord and or like DM me that idea, please? We need a new membership emoji. Thank you very
A
much.
dominatrix tomato.
Crack the whip. Yeah. Damato.
A
Damato.
Damato, the
I like
raging
it.
Damato. Alright, so
But I mean, to men, I particularly do think this. Most of them actually, uh, not to say that they like enjoy it, but for some reason
well, they enjoy it.
they keep coming back for it. I'm just gonna put 2 and 2 together because what man would be like, I yell at him ferociously on a panel telling him to shut the fuck up, and then he just is okay with that.
They're into it. They are
See?
into it. That is what it is. You needed to speed date them. But, so Sarcastic State wants me to ask you about the Furby versus Sarah Spurg session.
Mm. You know what? Furby's not good enough for me to talk about.
I like it. I like that. Someone I wanted to know why GS is the only one or why Duck is the only person that could tell you to pipe down.
Tell me to pipe down?
Yeah. Why Duck can tell her to pipe down and no one else can.
The duck's never told me to pipe down.
That's what Duck says. Duck's why.
Well, that's Duck asking. Ask Sarah why Duck can tell her to pipe down and no one else can. Tell her now is the time to be honest. I love it. Duck can't even like Duck doesn't even make it on our panel. I shut my show down the other night because Duck was spurging so fucking hard. I was like, I don't. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even going to do this. Goodbye.
Oh my god. James says that thirst traps are a good de-escalation too. There is nothing wrong with thirst traps, okay? American
They
Eagle found out
love
that
them.
thirst traps really bring up your numbers, okay? Like that is amazing.
It works because, I mean, the little lady on the horse or the dog watching dog prawn or the yoga girl. The yoga seems to be a favorite too. Just depends on what the guy's like. But it's a flash. It's like sending a flashbang into a room full of people doing stuff, and obviously it captures their attention. And they stop being stupid. Now the smart ones know that when the video stops playing, I'm going to talk. So you should not talk when the video stops playing. But then some of them do, and then that gets the tomato even more mad because that video playing is basically me saying, "Shut up, I'm gonna talk, and I'm not gonna I don't feel like yelling."
I truly enjoy the fact that you speak of yourself in the third person. That you speak of yourself, the tomato.
The
Like,
tomato.
that reminds me of, like, Spider-Man with the bone saw is ready. So
Oh, goodness. Mhm.
when you're having people debate against each other, do you find that sometimes, some of the smaller channels will feel kind of intimidated when they're going against somebody who has a bigger channel, and that there's actually that, like, overarching, like, Andrew, obviously Andrew Wilson is a known very good debater,
Mhm,
very popular, and he goes up against, he almost takes most all comers, right? He's pretty good with that.
mhm.
Do you find that sometimes you'll see the other ones kind of, don't want to say cowering, but in a little bit of a way, kind of giving a lot of leeway to him because of who he is?
No. I find it to be opposite. Um They fight even harder because this is, like, their chance, especially when we do open panel and Andrew's on the panel, like, that everybody and their brother wants to get on, um, and and I'm all for it, and, they come in and they want to argue their chance, their piece, and this is like, you have this window to make a point, and then they get worked up and more, I think, more nervous or more irritated or more, fight mode. The anxiety's high, the adrenaline's rushing, and they come at it, and then they actually do terrible when they do it too because of all those features, but I don't think people are necessarily intimidated, I think they're more starstruck,
Yeah.
um, but I think they recognize, "I have this opportunity right now, I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna go crazy."
And that's where you find, like, the emotion comes in, right? Because once, and that's one thing that good debaters are good at. They can say things with power, they can say offensive, they can say things without getting, they can get animated without getting emotional, right? Like,
Mhm.
they can have emphasis, but they're not going to let their emotions get the better of them. And sometimes they do get frazzled, right? They're talking about something important, something big, they even do it. But I feel like those are the best ones, right? That can hit that high, but not stay there with that high of emotion. Come back down, get back to being centered.
It's very you have to be very selective, like, right place, right time for everything. Andrew, like, for instance, Andrew has a really good way of, finding those small little moments to throw in an entertainment piece,
Yeah.
and usually that's when I'm, like, dying laughing and I fall over, like, off the side of my chair, and everyone's like, "There goes Sarah, he got her."
He's
Yeah,
funny.
like, some of this shit he says, I'm like, "Why?"
Have you had,
Um
Rob Noor on your show yet?
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh, I
love Rob.
love Rob.
Rob jumped on
Rob's
here
got
before.
my
He's
heart.
fantastic. He's so funny.
We did a gr we did a grift stream together and had so much fun with it. Actually, I need to bring it back again because we
Dude,
we
Rob's
kinda
such a good dude.
yeah, we hit a lot of shows pretty hard for a while there. I felt like he was on at least every like, twice a week almost, and, uh, and then, of course, everybody kinda makes their waves around, but,
Yeah, yeah,
the emotional portion of debate, I think, you know, I think most people try to throw that flair in way too early,
yeah.
or they like Base Tweaker is the perfect example of someone who doesn't know how to actually just have the conversation right here. And he was just yelling
I mean, it's
literally
in
the
the
whole
name.
time. Yeah. Mhm. Um, if you like you and I, we are talking right
Yeah,
now. We're not getting crazy, but there's a few moments where we're like, we're funny, and
we're having fun. Yeah.
those little pieces, can help the viewers with picking up and the emotional piece and adding. It makes it all fun, but you have to have a base level. And most people forget to have the base level and then, find your rises and your pitches when you need to. And they just throw everything they've got right off the
Yeah.
Pisco. Pisco was the another one who just
I've seen
is
Pisco before. Pisco could be good. I feel like Pisco could be okay, but Pisco gets triggered real easy. And Pisco
needs to woosah.
also, when Pisco doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, he refuses to just kind of acknowledge that and take the L. He tries
Mhm.
to talk his way out, and I've seen him just get torn up, and it's like, not only are you wrong about most of your topics, but you don't even know how to talk your way out of them. So I feel like he has like he obviously like most of the things he says is wrong, but then he'll like sit there and someone will give him something and he'll be like, I don't know that. And
Mhm.
then he'll be like, research it, and he researches it. Well, okay, but and he just circles back. It's like, bro, you were just move on. You lost that
That's
one.
fair.
Move on.
Pisco, like, just he had a hard time sharing the mic. We did a 2v2, and poor Wick never got to say a single word, and I felt bad. And even the opposition never really got to every time they started to answer his questions, then he'd interrupt him at more and more and more. But
Yeah.
his, like somebody like him for this very example, he's just like, and it's like, we can start with a simple discussion and really like let it escalate. Don't always be on
You
because
got to
then
utilize the mute button.
no, I believe in transparency. So if somebody's gonna act like a tard, I
Mm,
will let the audience see how much of a tard they are.
yeah,
Now,
let them do that.
once in a while, and the reason why I backstage them, if somebody is completely like, and it takes a lot for me to backstage somebody. Like you really have to just keep going and but I will backstage them so that the audience can visually see I'm putting them backstage. So
You put them
whatever
in
they're
timeout.
saying, right? Like, well, but also I want them to know um like, I'm removing them on screen, so now I am responsible for this moment right here. Nobody
Yeah.
else, like,
Yeah.
I'm removing them, and, here's why. But if I go around muting people because the audience can't see that mute button. They don't
Yep.
know that
No.
you've muted them, and I don't
Yeah.
think that's fair.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so and I don't ever want to be accused of, "Well, she muted me." Nope. I am full transparency. I don't mute people. And like the only times I'll use the mute button is if somebody comes in and their mic's like hot and things are happening and or there's background noise and I'll just click it. And I usually let them know in the back chat, like I
Yeah.
muted you, you got background. But I'm
That's
full
technical stuff though.
transparency.
That's not substantive or what they're saying. So
Mhm.
so when it comes to the blood sport debate channels, you're obviously one of the more popular ones. Obviously, whatever does it, is on there. They do their form of debate. Zero Hedge. Do you ever like watch them and kind of, not necessarily like, because I think like I don't look at what we do here with like live stream or anything. I don't look at anything as competition, right? Because
Mhm.
I think there's enough fans, there's enough mouths to feed. Like there are plenty of people. But do you ever like watch them just to maybe look at a guest that's interesting, right? Like maybe think about having them or things that they're doing, or do you just kind of focus on what you're doing with the tomato?
Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of other people's shows. Usually new panelists are brought into me. Um I go garbage digging on X to find beefs. My the maters are doing great. Like people are tagging me when they see internet beefs happening, and they're like, "You should debate." And somebody just did it today, and they're like, "Sarah, host this." So most of the stuff is coming to me. I used to have to go and do more work and go find it, and I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah,
grateful that it kind of has turned tables have turned the other way. Um, but I mean, I might go check out somebody if somebody recommends, "Hey, you should have such and such on," and they happen to be on Modern Day Debate,
yeah.
I might go and kind of poke in and see kind of how they present, but outside of that, I don't really watch a whole I don't watch a whole lot of other people's shows. I watch Grid 1 because I like Grid, and I watch Flow State too, and I'll chime in for Andrews every now and then, but, like, overall, I don't watch a whole lot of stuff.
I feel like that's the best way to do it, right? Because then sometimes you might get influenced and you do different things, right? You don't
Mhm.
do the same things that they do. So to answer Duck over here, Duck's ass, am I MAGA? Yes, but kind of. I am MAGA. I voted for him 3 times, but I'm not a zealot. I have no problem criticizing Trump when he's doing some dumbass shit because he does do some dumbass shit sometimes. So yes, I'm MAGA in the sense that I voted for Donald 3 times. And I fully support him, but I'm not a MAGA zealot who's just gonna change my views because Trump told me to. And there's a lot of people that will do that. So that's kind of where I stand with that. So
That's fair.
yeah, yeah, that's always where I've been. Who's Alex Cuesta? That is me, Duck. I'm Alex Cuesta. Damn it. Sarah came on the show because she's a nice lady. Um,
Nice. I'm not that nice.
No, no, you're no. Right now, you are because you're just the raging tomato. You're not the raging tomato. That's when you get angry. Have we not learned this? Um,
That's right, you established the O and the A.
and the
And,
dominator, the dominato,
Dominato.
the dominates. It kind of sounds like a new like chip from like Tostitos or Doritos. Eat the Dominitos.
That's perfect. I
so,
love that.
so how often when you're doing a debate does the chat have any effect? You have times where you allow the chat to chime in and maybe ask a question that's important, or is the chat just there to watch when the debate's going on for the most part?
The chat doesn't have influence for the actual debates, right? That first 2 hours of the debate, the chat has no influence on what's going on. They're there to enjoy it, be entertained, send their super chats, send all of your money, people. Thank you. And then, that's just it. I really want the debates focused on whoever's on screen, right? So if it's 2v2, 1v1, like I don't even make myself that very, I even I'll let the super chats display over top the screen, but everything's about them. Um, but when the panel opens, that's when the chat has full reign and
The
control over
floodgates.
what happens to everybody on panel, because they can boot people, they can kick
Ooh,
people, out
interesting.
for the night, they can bring people back on, so there I mean, and usually there's a line backstage, we got a lot of seats back there, and there's a big line, so if somebody gets booted, it just brings somebody else up, and then if they don't
That's
like
cool.
them, they'll boot them too, and they don't like them, they'll boot them too,
That's
so
fantastic.
yeah, that's when the chat can take the reins back and they're like, "Now it's our turn. Ha 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 ha." So,
So one of the things you told me is you kind of, you don't share your opinions on things really anymore. Why? Why don't you feel the need to like be like me who goes out there and rants and raves to like my 16 people? Like why don't you like to bring your politics, your views or anything to the ether?
I just don't care, like, to me, like, I don't care like I said before, my platform is not to change the world, but if you
Yeah.
wanna use it for that, then by all means, go for it. But for me, I after doing a couple years as a panelist for all of these other shows before I started my own channel, I realized, like, nobody gives a fuck. I'm not gonna change your mind. I'm not gonna, like, run you into, to completely come to the left or come to the right or go to religion or become an atheist, or I'm not going to change anything, and I don't care to, right? That's your job. If you want to go find if you want to, like, go find God, or if you want to become a right winger or whatever,
Yeah.
you yourself are going to go find that information because you had the inkling to do it. But me telling you my opinion and trying to convince you that you should X, Y, and Z, or this is right or this is wrong, doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to change anything. And realizing, like, arguing till you're blue in the face on a panel, like, all it does is, like, raise your blood pressure and make you upset, and then you go to bed and you're like, "Fuck," I'm drained, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's interesting though because I feel like you are doing something really good because one of the things that we've seen starting with the Barack Obama era is the divide of
Mhm.
true divide of, collectivists and leftists and people more on the right. And then the right just are growing and growing as the leftists get crazier and crazier. But you're allowing a platform where people can truly come and exchange ideas. And I feel like we have missed that so much,
Mhm.
and I feel like other shows don't do it as well because the moderator is obviously biased. And you see it on the cable news networks where you have CNN, Scott Jennings versus the world, or you have even Fox, you have Jessica Tarvloff just getting her ass beat on the five, right? Like, and it's not a real debate. It's not a real both sides where you are allowing people to come in and even more than trying to steer it a certain way. You're allowing people to speak their opinion, and if somebody gets owned, the people that are watching can
It's on
decide,
them.
right?
Yeah, it's
And
on them.
some people might look at somebody getting owned and be like, they were off, but that person that owned them was an asshole. So I don't even like what they had to say. It's like it doesn't always go. You get the sympathy people as well. And I think
Mhm.
there's space for everyone, right? I think what you're doing is important because, like you said, you're allowing people to come in and have a voice, to share it. And maybe where they didn't have a bigger following, they come on your show, they do a good job, boom. There's a bunch of tomatoes and maters that are jumping in and going, you know what? I'll subscribe to that person. They're cool. Like, and I think that that's fantastic that you provide that platform. So while I think you think I'm not changing the world, I'm not, and again, none of us are, right? But you are giving people the ability to decide. And I think that is so much more than we see in any situation. Like I do what I do because I like talking to people. I like meeting different people, and this show isn't necessarily just political. We talk to people in sports. I'm a giant freaking nerd, so we have on everybody. I don't care who they are. I would like to talk to more people that disagree with me, but I find it's hard to get them to come on, and I think that's an awesome skill that you have. That you're bringing people on that are, like I said, are on all sides. And I think that whether you think it's a service or not, I think you're doing something awesome because, like I said, people are getting topics with differing viewpoints. And maybe if they're not changing their mind, they're thinking a little bit differently about something because that person that they worship, that's a great debater, all of a sudden gets stumped by a really good point by the other side. And it's like, still agree with that person I like, but that was solid. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
do a little more research. So I think you're doing something fantastic.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that. Let me get my pat on the back for the day. That was very
you're allowed to
genuine.
get them, okay? You're allowed to get them. You don't always have to sit there in the corner and go, guys, be quiet. You're being mean now. Like you are allowed to every once in a while. And also that's why I like having you come on. I think having you come on and being able to let your hair down is actually some therapy for you too.
And I let
Right?
it down. I let it down.
Yeah, exactly. You let it down. You're not there. You're not ready to be aggressive, right? You didn't take the earrings off. You didn't put the hair in, take the shoes off. Like you weren't ready to start going and throwing hands. So,
Well, I mean, we could, Alex. You never know. You might say something, might trigger. You might trigger the tomato.
here's what would happen. I would make sure I get the first punch in because then I get my ass beat after. Like I got to get the first one in because then you would crush me. I can't beat a tomato, especially one with fire. Like how am I going to do that?
Right?
So
Yeah. We're pretty deadly.
yeah, you guys are absolutely deadly. So, Duck saying, "Am I monetized anywhere?" No, I'm not monetized anywhere. We're not big enough yet, but if that happens, it happens. And I'll say this: I appreciate anybody that subscribes tonight. Anyone that jumps on, you guys are freaking awesome. If this ever gets to the point where I can monetize, dope. But you will never find me, begging. I don't beg. I do what I
Oh,
do.
I don't have to beg. I just
Oh
tell
no,
them.
you don't.
Somebody send a super chat. Make me a happy tomato. All
I'm
right?
I apologize. You're a lady. Ladies have much better ability to do that to guys than I do to a bunch of other guys. Okay. Like, you're a pretty lady. Pretty ladies can do that. If I started going, send me things, my subscribers would go down to
Hold up.
zero.
Hold up. Does that make Andrew a pretty lady? Because he tells his audience to send him money too.
Andrew has an audience. When you have an audience, then you can start being a dummy dad. It's different. Once you get it there, if Andrew sees this, he's gonna be like, the hell did you call me? Rachel's gonna be like,
Dummy
what is
dad.
going on?
Dummy dad.
When did that happen?
You might have some shots fired at that one.
I mean, that's okay. That's okay. Listen, you know what? Andrew, come on over. That'll be fun. It'll be good. It's meant as a compliment, okay?
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
I
I've it's not the first time I've heard people refer to him as, like, the crucible daddy or your daddy's here, or like, weird shit like that, and I'm like, "Why do you guys do that? Y'all are weird."
it's funny. I mean, it's just people say things. James S saying stop simping. I'm not simping. I'm just providing. Listen, there is a difference between providing a compliment than simping. I mean, I provide compliments like that to dudes that I think are doing a good job at what they do. So it is not simping. And I guess I don't simp. It's weird.
It's
It is
well,
weird.
it's
The only
funny
person I
because
simp for my wife. That's about it.
And that's good. You should. That's your
Yeah.
darling wife. But I find
Yeah.
it funny because like nobody's allowed to pay me a compliment on the internet because they'll all be like, "Simp."
I,
Like
I don't care about that. Like, yeah, you know what? Cool. I will. I'll simp for sour guys. Dope. Clip that. Whatever.
clip it and
There,
ship it.
there are worse people to simp for. Okay.
That's a good point.
And I've seen some of the. Here's the thing. It's like that quote. Like I've seen the people you cheer for. So like your cheers have no meaning to me. I've seen
That's
the people that you guys simp for. So it doesn't
that's
matter what
fair.
you guys have to say. Ugh.
That's
James over here saying Andrew is the S tier grifter. I mean, I don't think he is. I mean, I don't know. I There's really bad grifters out there, so I don't want to call out people that are actually providing something as grifters. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
we're all grifters according to the internet. We own it. We own the troll, and we'll just I'm gonna grift. I'm gonna grift the grift. Let's do it.
if you're providing entertainment and a service and getting paid for it, that's not
Mhm.
grifting. Like people
Oh,
suck
we
at
know
saying
we
that.
know that, but we just we hope we utilize this
Embrace
is
it.
what happens. Yeah, when the trolls come out and be like, "You're grifting, you're lying, you're whatever," and we just say, "All right, fine. I'm gonna grift then. I'm gonna grift the shit out of it. Continue the grift." Chat.
So is this true, Sarah? If I simp for you, I need to send you a super chat of 100 to simp.
Mhm.
So here's
Yep.
the difference, though. I
Simping
have the
costs.
I have the ability to ask you to come on my show, so I could just do it like this. So that's it. See that I have a loophole that you guys don't have.
Yeah, content creators don't count, but, for the chat, simping costs. You have to
It is
pay to simp.
it's the value of having your own show. So you know what, guys? Start your own show, and then you can invite Sarah on and sim for her in person. Like it's a real simple formula. That it is fantastic. So, Sarah, I appreciate you. I like what you do. You're freaking awesome. Thank you for jumping on the show.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, so I hope you had some fun. So for everyone watching, she is Sara the Raging Tomato. You can find her over on X at Sara the Raging Tomato, and there's some zeros thrown in there for the O's. You can find her on Instagram, the underscore raging underscore tomato. Just go over on YouTube, it's the same thing, raging underscore tomato. Go follow the gauntlet on YouTube as well, because you'll find all the debates, all the good stuff, and they go live Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, there's Moderator Monday where you can watch and things like that. So Sarah's all over the place. She's doing a bunch of fun stuff, doing great shows, bringing in fun people for everyone to listen, tear each other up verbally. And that's what we like to see, right? We like to see people hurting each other's feelings via intellectual debate. I know
I
I
like
enjoy it.
it. I
Yeah.
like watching people get, mentally smashed.
I mean, that's fantastic. I do like
Like,
that as well.
you can see people like, you could see the wheels turning sometimes, and you're like, "Oh."
Mhm. You start to see smoke coming out of their ears, and it's like, "You might wanna get that checked out." The lights start flickering, they're getting so angry.
Yeah. Yep. It
So
happens.
so we are the Alex Cuesta Show for everyone out there that is watching for the first time because you're a mater. We appreciate you watching. Make sure if you like what you saw, give us a subscribe over there. If not, go make fun of us somewhere. And that's okay too. I'm okay with that as well. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, give us 5 stars. We will be back on Wednesday. I don't even know who we have on Wednesday. We have someone fun on Wednesday, but yeah, you guys will find out when I do, I guess. But we do have someone there and we appreciate it. Come back Wednesday if you like what you see. We'll have another interview. We'll have a